FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio, this is The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Handicapping all the football action, here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hello, good people. Welcome to The Odds Couple. Week 16. Championship weekend in college football. Big week in the National Football League as well. We got it all covered for you here today on The Odds Couple. Lance Taylor will join us from Birmingham, get his thoughts on the action coming up this weekend. Also, Vinnie Verno will join us here on the show. We'll have our picks as well. Lang Whitaker, hello, sir.
What's up? How are you?
I'm good, man. Good to see you.
You too. I think last weekend, the Florida LSU game was the funniest game I've watched all season. In a year that we've had disappointment after disappointment, I'm still laughing about the way that game ended.
It was rather entertaining.
I thought I'd seen it all when I saw I got pee like a dog and lose a game. Florida's like, hold my beer.
That's right. That's right. John Roser in the house as well. How are you, sir?
To quote the great Austin Powers when he was hit in the head by Random Task's shoe, who throws a shoe? Honestly. I learned a couple things. Georgia's the second best team in the SEC.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with JT Daniels now. They are the second best team in the SEC. I also have learned
What
when
about Texas A&M?
when Rob sends out his picks and wants us to make two of our own this week, he hates me now. He's up to my tricks. As he says, pick two NFL games. He is not giving me the option of picking Alabama in the first half, which has made me be the leader in GCUs this year because they just cover the first half by a mile.
That's a loophole. That's not a real bet.
They are 9-1 against the first half spread this year.
Wow.
8-2 against the game spread.
Well, you can do that on your own. You know, the windows are open. It's legal.
Oh, believe me.
Okay.
Yeah, we're there. We already have.
Just wanted to make sure.
By the way, you know who's 1-0 in the last one game against the spread? The Memphis Tigers.
Yes.
Hey,
and Lang Whitaker.
That's right.
Did right. First time you've hit a Tiger
I knew
game
it. I
this
told
year.
you it was going to
Amazing.
happen. Law of averages.
Wow.
Since we can talk all sports, not the basketball team. Favored by 10, all right, against Tulane. Favored by 10. So they're up like 1 at halftime. It's like,
right.
Man, wow. Second half line, it's 7. So now they're favored by 7. Got to win the game by more than 7. They are up 13. I did not bet this game, and I'm glad I didn't.
I did.
They are up 13 with a minute and a half to go with the ball. And I'm like, oh, they might be able to cut. They could cover the 10. I mean, the second half, if you took it live line at halftime, like you're good on the 7. And then DJ Jeffries gets 2 free throws up 8. Somehow it ends up at 8. Makes the first, misses the second. It's 9. Tulane comes down, hits a 3, wins by 6. Memphis wins by 6.
I had 9.5. So
Didn't matter.
with like a minute and a half to go, I thought it was
that
done.
was great.
Turned it off. I was listening in the car. Turned it off. Put on a little pink.
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah. Raise your glass, right? Because
That's
you're
right.
thinking you covered. Raise your glass.
And then Tulane comes back and they get it done. So yeah, but the Tigers. You mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. I think Lang, Tiger football and Tiger basketball. Pretty good to fade both of them right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we can't really. There's only one more chance for football.
Yeah, right.
The rest of the way.
And
But-
they're favored big in that game.
Pretty funny, though, because pretty crazy. Willie Taggart gets fired from Florida State. Mike Norvell leaves Memphis for Florida State. Memphis playing Willie Taggart and FAU.
That's right.
In the Montgomery Bowl.
Montgomery, that's right.
Yes,
that's right.
yes.
CJ Hurt is here as well. How are you, CJ? Good to see you, sir.
Always a pleasure seeing you fine gentlemen. I am great today.
Did you learn anything this past weekend?
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to learn
Yeah, I'm
anything.
gonna ask you.
Well, hell, I learned that Michigan's football season is over, thank goodness. And let's look forward to 2021, baby. Let's go blue.
I think the other thing I learned, too, was Dan Mullen has one of these every year, doesn't he?
At least one.
I mean, and it's too bad. I mean, this was a team that they were poised, to – you thought, maybe a shootout with Alabama, maybe a puncher's chance with Alabama and a great season, beat Georgia, that game that matters, who's going to win the East. And then this –
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, this was a total. This is the difference, but aside from the fact that obviously Alabama seems to have every 5-star player under the sun on their roster. this is the difference between these two programs mentally and how they approach. If you've noticed, like Alabama, that was the perfect letdown spot. If Arkansas was going to be able to ever cover against Bama, that was the perfect spot to be able to do it. And the way Arkansas started that game, it's 3-3, and it's like, oh, Hogs came to play. And then it was Saban laid into somebody, and that flipped quick.
They still didn't hit the over, though.
No. They covered the spread,
They didn't give up anything.
No.
Hey, and they covered the first half spread. But Alabama, they don't have that letdown game. Like, they know how to focus on the game that they have at hand, and Florida did not do that.
And that, honestly, to me, is the most impressive thing about Saban's tenure at Alabama. It's not just the winning, not just the championships or the SEC game appearances. It's the fact that they don't have one of those. They don't have a game like Florida had. They don't have a game like Clemson had against, who was it against, where Clemson
They had
almost
Syracuse.
lost.
They had Syracuse a couple
lost
years ago where they
Syracuse
did
and
lose.
it was
Yeah.
Boston College this year they almost lost to.
Yeah.
I think they don't. Bama doesn't have those games. Ohio State will go out and lose to subpar Big Ten teams or to Virginia Tech like we saw in 2014. Alabama doesn't. That is remarkable.
Yeah, their biggest scare was Ole Miss, and that was cute.
I mean, but with Florida, you could say that Mullen had his misstep earlier this year when they lost to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
But then they do this again against a terrible LSU team, a terrible team.
That was so bad. I mean, it was so bad.
It was hilarious, though.
It was, man. It was funny.
He understands comedy.
It was funny. No, there's no doubt. It was hilarious.
And then that referee, when he came in and said, that's a personal foul for throwing the shoe 20 yards down the field.
And then Dan Mullen asked afterwards, said, I don't know what happened. Tell me what happened.
Well, then on Sunday, he said it was part of a football move. Did you see that? He said that was he ended up with the shoe in his hand and just kind of, wasn't trying to show anybody off.
Right, 20 yards.
I think the most disappointing thing, if you're Dan Mullen and you're Florida and you're the kid who did that, kid's a senior. Like if that's like a freshman or a sophomore that does it, you don't expect a senior to do that.
But they were doing that the whole game. Florida does that. Like they give up 35 points to LSU. And when they get a stop, the guy, he throws the shoe, and then he also goes like this. Another defender runs over and stands over the guy and does this. Like there was about 3 things you could have flagged on that play. Like when you've given up 35 points to LSU, like you don't have any room for your defense to be out there woofing at people.
No, I love the flexing. The flexing after throwing it takes a lot of strength to throw a shoe.
Yeah. Well, Florida's a huge dog this week as they take on Alabama, member of the Saban Nation. Big dog for
good thing
Florida.
to be.
Nick Saban talking about the secret of success for the Tide.
No, I don't really know the secret to the success other than, we've worked hard and we've been in some really good situations through the years with really good people who are very supportive and given us the tools that we have that can create value for players so we can attract good players. And, we've been able to develop those players with the knowledge and experience that we have on our staffs and, with what we've been able to create through the years. So I can't really pinpoint anything. I know it comes from having really good people in your organization. And I'm sort of a perfectionist by nature, and I know you can't be perfect, but we're always working to try to close the gap on perfect if we can and get everybody in the organization to try to do the same.
That's Nick Saban week 1 or championship week.
Yeah. He's going to find perfection by boring it to death.
Yeah, exactly.
I think was that from this week or was that before they played like Western Carolina like 3 years ago?
He just plays the hits at this point.
Alabama has covered their last 7 games. They've won 48 straight when they're a double-digit favorite against SEC opponents. They've been 29-19 against the spread in those games. Florida hasn't covered in their last 4 head-to-head. Alabama's won 6 straight against the Gators. They've covered 5 of the 6. The favorites covered 4 of the 5. And in the last 6, Alabama has scored at least 29 points in every matchup. Florida has scored more than 16 one time against the Crimson Tide. 5 of the last 6 also have gone over. Now, in the ACC this week, we got a rematch, Notre Dame and Clemson. It seems to me that with the play, thank goodness we just don't have time to talk about the playoff committee and what's going on there. Yeah. But it seems to me if Clemson wins this week, Notre Dame will be penalized for not beating a good Clemson team. If Notre Dame wins this week, then I guess Clemson will be penalized for losing twice
to Notre Dame.
I mean, I think Clemson was pretty darn good, even with a 4-star backup quarterback.
They were good, yeah. But the real mess that could happen this week is if Florida somehow wins.
Yeah.
Because then you get an Alabama team that destroyed everybody. They lost to Florida. Texas A&M is on the same side as Alabama, but they beat Florida. And then Florida loses last week to LSU and drops one spot in the college football rankings.
Don't you root for the chaos?
I do a little bit. Yeah. Although I don't think we need to go back to the BCS the AAC guy suggested, which is another bad idea. But I kind of hope. I don't really want Florida to beat Alabama, but it would at least be funny. And, I think the humor is the best thing we can root for in this situation. Roser's doing math over here.
I'm trying. My 2 NFL picks. I'm totally thrown off by this because my NFL picks were going to be on the same game, and 3 of their receivers have COVID now. So I've got to find new games now. I'm totally thrown off here. No, Notre Dame, Clemson. Yeah. I think Notre Dame is obviously. I think some people still aren't sold on them. They are like Alabama light. They are very strong on both lines of scrimmage, their offensive line and their defensive line. They're very, very physical. I love Ian Book. He's big. He can run. He can throw it. They don't have the Chase Claypools, the Golden Tate, the Will Fuller. They don't have that kind of deep threat this season, but Brian Kelly is a really good coach, and he's kind of been able to adjust to it.
Is he?
Brian Kelly's a really good coach. And but with Clemson, the difference, it's going to be Lawrence is back there, and Lawrence, the ukulele kid played well and threw for a lot of yards. He's not Trevor Lawrence, and one thing we've seen from Clemson is that while they have screwed around at times this year, when they have wanted to play, they have bombed you. They have bombed teams when they have been full strength and they've really wanted to play. They're also going to have 3 defensive players that they didn't have in that Notre Dame game. 3 defensive starters that weren't with them in that game are going to be with them for this one.
Trevor Lawrence will be back for Clemson this week against Notre Dame. He's excited about the opportunity to get him again.
It means a lot. Usually our last loss was in the national championship. Didn't get to go and play that game again or get to go play that team again. So I'm excited to be able to go back and play them again. Obviously, I wasn't able to play, so I'm excited for that challenge. And I think the team's excited for it, to get another chance and have a couple weeks to prepare and get ready for Charlotte.
He's excited.
All right, that's the first. Okay, that's the first time I've ever heard Trevor Lawrence talk.
I think so. I was thinking the same thing. I've never heard his voice before.
So now it makes all the sense in the world. That story that's on ESPN.com about will he spurn the Jets and just say pull an Eli Manning, and so comes the story. He wears 16 because of Peyton Manning. He grew up a big Tennessee fan, and that's why he wears 16. He went to the Manning Passing Academy. He has a big relationship with Peyton, Eli, and Archie Manning, all 3 of them. That dude sounds just like Peyton Manning when he talks. Just like Peyton Manning. It all makes sense now.
Clemson taking on Notre Dame. Clemson a 10-point favorite in that game, 61.5 for the over-under. Clemson 7-0 against the spread their last 7 in December. 5-0 against the spread their last 5 as a neutral site favorite. Notre Dame, meanwhile, 6-0 against the spread against teams with a winning record. Both of these teams have great numbers against the number head-to-head. Clemson's won 3 of the last 4. Notre Dame, of course, won the last one earlier this season. And Clemson 1-0 against the spread when they've played in a neutral site. That was in the Cotton Bowl in 2018. Other than the Pac-12, we'll throw them out because that would be the answer. Of the other 4 big conference championships this week, I'll even throw in the AAC for that matter. Big 12, the least interesting?
Yeah, I think so. Iowa State's it's an interesting matchup.
Pesky.
Yeah, they could be good. They've beaten some good teams.
But it just feels like a game of, even if Iowa State wins, like, who cares?
Yeah, I think so. It's more irrelevant than even most years, I believe. Even the Alabama Florida game isn't that interesting because Alabama's so much better. Yeah,
Florida ruined that.
So maybe that Notre Dame Clemson one is the most intriguing of all of them. Just a little revenge there. But even then, you think, all right, with with Lawrence, they're going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Big 12 game because I think there is a revenge factor there for Oklahoma, and I think for Iowa State, Iowa State's like never won the Big 12. So I mean, and they've been a team they've gotten. While I don't, obviously Oklahoma's way better now than the first time they played Iowa State. I think Iowa State is even better now than when they played Oklahoma. It's not like Iowa State was. If you go back and look at it, Iowa State was not amazing in that game against Oklahoma. Oklahoma was just playing really poorly at the time. I mean, I like the game. And you got look here. Iowa State's what, 6th in the rankings? If they win the Big 12 title, it is tough with a 2-loss team to put a 2-loss team in there. But if Notre Dame knocks off Clemson will fall out. If Iowa State wins the Big 12, they're the next closest.
That is crazy.
And meanwhile, one of the losses was who? Lafayette?
Yeah.
To Louisiana, and they got. I watched that. I was so thirsty for college football. I watched that game.
Think about 18?
17. And it wasn't that close. Louisiana made them look slow and unathletic.
And Coastal beat Louisiana Lafayette.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Matt Campbell's done a great job at Iowa State for sure. He talks about what a win would mean for Ames.
Yeah, I think from our standpoint, it's just continuing to prove who we want to be as a university and as a program. I think from our end of it, in some ways, it's the next opportunity, the next game. I think a lot of things that we've been able to do here within our football program have been a lot of first. And, so much credit of that has gone to the vision and the consistency and character of our players. And, this is just another step, another opportunity to go places this program's never gone. And, we say a lot of times, if you want to go places you've never gone, you have to be willing to do things you've never done. And, it's going to be really fascinating to see, can we stay the course and continue to grow as we prepare for this game.
You'll hear that and more next on the Matt Campbell Show.
we need more of that metal
on
behind the coaches.
IMG Radio.
That was awesome.
Oklahoma 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games. Iowa State 4-1 against the number in their last 5. Head-to-head, Iowa State has covered the last 5 matchups with Oklahoma.
That is not how you spell Iowa, by the way.
And the underdog has covered the last 5 in this series. 8 of the last 9 have gone over as well. Big Ten Championship, Ohio State and Northwestern. Pesky little fun Northwestern, right?
No. It's the same. It's
I think it makes it interesting just to see. Oh, no.
Let's go, Buckeyes! Let's go, Buckeyes!
I don't think they're pesky enough. That's the problem.
No.
I would like it to be a team that had a shot. What's the line on 14 or 18 at this point?
I don't think there is a Big Ten team that would have a shot.
It is 21,
21,
I believe.
Yeah. So, no thanks.
All right. Here is Pat Fitzgerald. I think he might agree with you.
If I had a vote, I'd vote them number 2. I think they're a complete football team, all 3 phases. It starts in the backfield. All the receivers are highlight reel guys. I mean, every time they touch the ball, it's a highlight reel. What jumps out to me is their defensive front, and then their back end. They got multiple first rounders that are unbelievably talented. I'm sure we're going to be underdogs by like 70. So I don't know. We'll try to put together a good week and get ourselves prepared.
Good luck.
Need some metal behind those quotes.
Well, don't worry. The rest of the Big Ten is closing the gap. So far, there have been 7 5-star players to sign with the Big Ten in this national signing day that just happened. 5 of them are going to Ohio State.
No,
So
Why do you want to
closing
hurt
the gap?
me?
Closing the gap.
Why do you enjoy hurting me, dog?
And there's apparently one other 5-star kid, another 5-star defensive lineman who hasn't picked yet, and Ohio State's the leader for him too. So just things are looking up in the Big Ten.
Another one.
Another one.
Ohio
DJ
State.
Khaled.
Ohio State has covered 7 of the last 8 against Northwestern. We will take a break here on the Odds Couple. When we come back, Lance Taylor will join us, get his thoughts on championship weekend. Also, Vinnie Verno coming your way straight ahead here on the Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
And we welcome to the show Kyle Anderson, who I believe you are the elder statesman now. Are you the oldest dude in the gym?
Somebody called me one of the rookies called me the OG in the locker room.
The Chris Vernon Show, live daily on GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, and the official Grizzlies mobile app. Subscribe and download daily episodes at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SoundCloud.
The Grizzlies debuted their City Edition uniforms, and they are the coolest City Edition uniforms.
Look at this beautiful black and gold.
Show me the glasses.
It's all the way like right on the seam.
That's dope. But that's how you
that's
know
pretty sick.
the detailing of it. Like, that's pretty dope.
Oh, my nails are so gross.
Rise and Grind with Jessica and Megan. Live daily at 8 a.m. on grindcitymedia.com.
What's up, Grizzlies fans? I'm Megan Triplett, and I have some exciting news to share. We have a new app. That's right. It's a 3-in-1 experience that you don't want to miss out on. Check this out. The app will keep you up to date on all of the Grizzlies stats and latest news. If you're looking to see what events are going on at FedEx Forum, that can all be found on the app as well. Plus, if you want to see more of me and the rest of the Grind City Media team, like Chris Vernon, Lang Whitaker, and Mike Wallace, there's a section for all that. It is 365 days of content to keep you in touch with all things Grizzlies, FedEx Forum, and GCM. And did I mention you can also purchase and manage tickets on the app? The app does it all. Download it now.
Welcome back to grindcitymedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Now, here's more of the Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, don't miss the newest Grind City Media show, Rise and Grind, with Jessica Benson and Megan Triplett. You know, I was on the show Thursday.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll be on tomorrow.
It was a blast.
Friday.
The duo brings a fresh, fun, and energetic double shot of morning vibes to catch you up on the latest in sports, entertainment, pop culture, and everything Memphis, with some completely biased, unfiltered discussions. And I'm not even going to say above average jokes. I think they're pretty good. Pretty
Average?
good jokes.
You think they're average?
No, I think they're above average. I think not
So they are
slightly.
above
I
average.
think they're above, like solid above
Highly
average.
above average.
Check them out on YouTube or Grind City Media on YouTube or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch the show live or download each episode daily. Subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. Welcome back to the Odds Couple as we get you set for championship weekend in college football and another exciting week of the National Football League. We heard from Nick Saban earlier. Hopefully you're still with us. They will take on the Florida Gators this weekend, a Florida Gators team that just lost to LSU, and they got a salty head coach in Dan Mullen.
On TV, they said that you thought even a two-loss SEC champion would get into the playoff. Do you think if you beat Alabama next week, this team deserves to be in the playoff?
I don't have a vote on that. I'm not in the room. You know what I mean? I know we've played 10 games, right? So I guess probably the best thing to do would have been play less games, because you seem to get rewarded for not playing this year in college football. But I tell you what, I give our guys a lot of credit, the competitors our guys are, that they want to go out there and compete every single week. That we face a lot of injuries, we face a lot of adversity. We've played shorthanded a lot of games. And then we have no control. We have no control over anything but whether or not we win next week. That's all we can control. If we win next week, we're SEC champs. I can't control more than that. That is all we control.
You know, when Mullen left Mississippi State, I asked a friend of mine who was a Mississippi State alum, "Oh, you're going to miss him?" And he was like, "No."
Really?
He's like, I'm excited. Like, we don't have to deal with him anymore.
He's not only, I mentioned it earlier, he's good for one of these a year, it feels like, where they just don't come to play.
He's just like throwing stuff at the wall. But he's throwing a shoe.
But he's also he's the happy-go-lucky, suck-up, kind of cute coach every time he has a press conference, and it's the joke around and ha-ha, chuckle hut sort of deal. And then all of a sudden, when he loses, he can just be a smart-ass, pain in the ass. And he was on Saturday.
Maybe
the stuff about the shoe, I don't know what you're talking about, I didn't see it. Come on, man. And then just all of a sudden going into Ohio State
just
and
all
not
year,
playing
man.
games. Like,
when they lost to Texas,
you just lost to LSU.
When they lost to Texas A&M, and he was like, "We should fill the stadium next week,"
At the Swamp,
and then they all get COVID.
Yeah,
like it's just
right.
like all season long. And then this when he says, "Well, we should have played less games." Okay, let's say you play 5 games, you would have been 4-1 because you lost to Texas A&M early on this season. So, like, what do you? I'm just tired of him coming up with excuses and just win the games.
I love Dan Mullen.
He's a great coach.
Yeah,
I think he's a great coach.
See, y'all sit here and like
he's a good offensive coach.
I love that he says this stuff. It's entertaining. Cool. I don't want you sitting up there being dry and vanilla.
We just made fun of Nick Saban for being remarkably boring.
Yeah, but there's got
said something kind of interesting.
There's got to
like when we get upset with him for saying, at least he says something, you know.
There's got to be a middle ground, though. Like you can say interesting things without having to appeal to the lowest common denominator here.
Have you been to Gainesville, Florida? I mean, you can type in, there's a thing you can do on Google. You can type in Florida man and your birthday, and you could just, there's going to be some kind of crazy story about a Florida man doing something weird on your birthday.
Dan Mullen kind of Florida. He kind of is the Florida man.
Yeah, right? He's
I never thought about it until just now.
Yeah, kind of is Florida man.
Rosa, do you remember what the line was last week?
24
for the SEC championship.
Oh, the line last 13.5. It was 13.5 when LSU Florida started. When they kicked off, it was 13.5.
So it's gone to 17.
It's gone to 17 to 17.5. I am hating. I did not get on 13.5.
Well, you know they're still. I mean, Florida's still going to score a lot of points.
Yeah,
they're going to score points. Trask. Some of those interceptions were just kind of unlucky things, bad
and
bounces.
Alabama still gives up big plays.
Sure.
I mean, they didn't last week.
Georgia played them toe-to-toe for a half just because they could score against them, and that was with a quarterback who couldn't see over the line.
Even LSU put up some big plays against them.
I think it'll still be a good game. I don't think Florida's going to win, and they might cover the 17. That's a pretty big number for a team that scores a lot of points.
Yeah, Alabama's scoring in the 50s, so. I think as it was kind of, I kind of heard as it was brought up that Alabama. There's only really been one game this season where we've gotten to see their offense flex for 4 quarters, that we've gotten to see, and it was that Ole Miss game.
Yeah,
and it's because their defense kept giving up points after points after points to Ole Miss. But when Alabama really needed to score for 4 quarters, you saw what they did.
Yeah,
they can name their number.
NFL this week, big one on Monday night as the Pittsburgh Steelers look to snap their 2-game losing streak. They take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Ben Roethlisberger talking about the struggles of the Steelers.
We've lost 2. We're facing some adversity, but we're not hitting the panic button. Offensively, we're not very good, and right now we're not playing good football, and it starts with me. So we all need to look in the mirror, and like I said, it starts with me, and understand that we all need to be better. And, I think that we will be. I think this is a team that's got a lot of resilience, that is resilient and understands what it takes to win football games and understands what time of year it is, and that the way we're playing right now is unacceptable.
Pittsburgh's won 7 straight at Cincinnati. 10-3-2 against the spread against the Bengals.
Yeah, and you trying to get people fired up, calling it a big one on Monday night. Everybody pumped to see Brandon Allen play quarterback for the Bengals.
Gambling's legal. They're all big.
There you go. Who are we taking for the first TD?
Fish is using his PA announcer voice. By the way, Twitter is the great equalizer. I just noticed when we had the graphic up while he was talking. Did you notice Big Ben's Twitter handle? It begins with an underscore.
Oh, yeah.
It's underscore Big Ben 7 because apparently somebody else got Big Ben 7 before.
Are any of us blocked? Because he's got a big thing where he blocks a lot of people. He blocks a lot of people.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm sure Vinnie Verno is blocked from Ben Roethlisberger. He blocked from a lot of people probably, but it's always a pleasure to have him on this show. We do not block Vinnie Verno, who makes picks on this show and picks winners, and he joins us via Skype here today. Hello, Vinnie.
I make picks, you make money. I make picks, you make money. Hey, look what I got here. You see this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was walking to the store the other day, and I don't even need this crap. Look at the size of this friggin' bear.
It's a big bear.
That is the biggest teddy bear you ever seen in your life. I have absolutely no use for this thing, but I've been winning so much this year, I was like, hell, I'll take the bear. Look at the size of it. I'm going to make my picks with it.
Okay.
Look at this friggin' thing. I defy you to have a bigger teddy bear than me. This is what happens when you make picks. You get enough money, you're walking through the store, you say, who the hell needs a teddy there that big? I do. I bought it. Now it is my friend Teddy. So, I got picks. I make picks, you make money. I make picks, you make money. Let me get my friggin' picks. You think I should name him or what?
Yes.
Name him Ted. Maybe he'll come to life.
Maybe I name him Winner. When you got so much money you don't know what to do with it, you buy the biggest friggin' teddy bear in the world. All right. So anyways, by the way, I don't know if you guys have been reading the news, but right before I came on with you idiots, they say a vaccine is coming for this disease everybody got.
Yeah, it's already here. Yeah, it's here. It's here, Vin.
Yeah,
It's here.
I looked up the company, Pfizer.
Yeah.
It said the name of the company. You know that? You ever heard of that company?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even care about the vaccine or whatever, but it says they make pills for your wiener.
Yeah.
That true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It said you could be hard for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Last time I was on for 4 hours was Alabama 52, Arkansas 3. Who needs a pill? All right. Let's see. We got Big 12 Championship coming up this weekend. Matt Campbell, 5 games versus Oklahoma. He's covered them all. So I'm like, all right, they're probably going to make it a short line. Nope. Plus 5.5. Give me those points. Give me those points. Brock Purdy, one of my favorite players ever. I ditched him after he boned me against Louisiana. Redemption. We're going black with Brock Purdy. We're going Iowa State plus 5.5 over Oklahoma. But we don't need them. They're winning straight up.
Wow. All right.
Cyclones.
All right. Vinnie Verno, have fun with your Bears.
What the hell? I ain't done with you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, we got more picks.
Go ahead.
Ohio State plays against Northwestern.
Yeah.
Yeah, Northwestern. I hear this guy on the TV the other day. He's like, oh, Northwestern's a good team. Ohio State better watch out. What the hell have you been watching? They lost to friggin' Michigan State. They stink. So I went and looked up. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong on this. And I went and looked up. You know these two teams played last year?
Yeah. I know. It was a Friday night.
52 to friggin' 3. And the line now is 20. We're taking Ohio State minus 20 because they're going to win, wait for it, 52 to 3 again. For 4 hours. Thank you, Pfizer. Pfizer pick of the year. Yeah. We're going Iowa State, and we're going Ohio State. Make enough money to buy a big teddy bear. I'm tired of you all disappointing all your family every Christmas time. Christmas is a week away. You got a chance to make money. You got no excuses. Iowa State, Ohio State, the states, Bona picks. You're welcome.
Thank you, Vinnie Verno. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
All right, we got our picks coming up in our final segment here today. That'll be coming your way next. See you here on the Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
Out of the University of Mississippi yesterday, the whole state of Mississippi welcomed their new flag.
I just didn't think about how soon you're going to see the flag.
It was like when you get championship shirts right after someone wins. What happens to the other option?
They give it to a charity.
You're telling me some new charity has a couple of flags now that they can wave?
I would hope no one is walking around somewhere with that, like, oh, look what I got, the toy. No.
Rise and Grind with Jessica and Megan. Live daily at 8 a.m. on grindcitymedia.com.
In everything we do, defensive activity, offensive execution, play together, have an edge about us. Just play with an edge. Play with an edge and play together.
Durant, blocked for Jaron, blocked by James. Dylan Brooks with authority. Jones to Brandon Clark. A turn and gun. He got it. Jones for 3. Jones blocked by Jaron.
Yeah, stay together, Blue. Stay together. Way to roll me, kid. Let's leave it out there.
John Durant with elevation.
Go next level and become a 2020-2021 Grizzlies MVP season ticket member. Pick the best seats at the best prices to see your Grizz face the Lakers, Warriors, and more with Grizzlies 2020-21 season tickets. MVP season ticket members get exclusive access to events, seat upgrades, discounts on gear, and more. Season tickets start at just $9 per game, so secure your seats and place a 20% deposit by calling 901-888-HOOP or clicking Grizzlies.com today.
Once a week, get your basketball fix with Talkin' Grizz featuring me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, and media from around the NBA as we discuss draft topics, prospects, and more. Connect with Grind City Media on all their social channels, subscribe to Grind City Media YouTube, and follow Grind City Media on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with all things Grizzlies.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Here's The Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, get your daily sports, pop culture, and Grizz fix with insider news and commentary on all things sports and more with The Chris Vernon Show. And see Vinnie Verno on The Chris Vernon Show. It's live at noon daily, Monday through Friday. Tune in to GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app. Catch Chris live or download each episode daily and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. There are a couple of other games in the SEC this week.
Which is weird.
Despite it's championship week, it's very weird. Georgia decides they're not going to play because they'll probably move up in the rankings.
No, Georgia
anyway.
was going. Georgia wanted to play.
Okay.
Vanderbilt didn't have enough people to play Georgia 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Somehow they had enough to play against Tennessee last week.
Right.
Now they don't have enough to play against Georgia on Senior Day again.
Yeah.
Furthering my cause to get Vanderbilt out of the SEC. Things in Vanderbilt are so bad. Sarah Fuller transferred. Did you see that?
No.
She transferred to North Texas.
Oh,
she
wow.
did. Yeah.
That is a great story.
She's a graduate transfer.
Well, of course.
She's
But
going to go
it's
play
still
soccer.
a great story.
It is funny.
Texas A&M finally is going to play Tennessee. A&M a 14-point favorite in this matchup. Head-to-head, they've only played 3 times. Tennessee's won 2 of the 3. A&M did win the last one. Jimbo Fisher, 22-13 against the spread. At A&M, they're 4-2 their last 6. Tennessee 8-17 against the spread, their last 25 at home. Ole Miss takes on LSU. LSU a 2-point favorite. Over/under in this one is 74. Ole Miss 4-12-1 against the spread as an underdog. LSU 5-1 against the spread as a home favorite. The home team has covered 6 of the last 7. LSU's covered 5 of the last 6. And Mizzou takes on Mississippi State. Mizzou a 1.5-point favorite, 49.5 the total in this one. Missouri 5-2 straight up in their last 7, 11-10 straight up against SEC West opponents. Mississippi State's been bad against the number, 1-8 against the spread their last 9 against winning teams. And head-to-head, they've only played 3 times as well, with Mizzou winning 2 of the 3 games.
Nobody really cares about any of those.
That's why I try to go fast.
I go A&M minus 13.5. I like Missouri. I do like Missouri in that game. Mississippi State last week was just putrid against Auburn, like not being able to put up points. If there was ever a spot that you could have gotten Auburn coming off back-to-back losses, like that would have been the spot, and their offense still couldn't score against an Auburn team that didn't care, and their coach got fired after the game.
For winning.
Got fired for winning.
For how bad Mizzou and Arkansas both lost last week, Mizzou didn't keep it close against Georgia, and Arkansas, obviously, they got stomped by Alabama. We thought those 2 weeks ago they were fighting for the Coach of the Year in the SEC. Did either one of them hurt themselves? Does Nick Saban get a shot at it, maybe?
Maybe. He runs the table again.
Because Dan Mullen lost it if he had any shot.
Dan Mullen lost it.
And does anybody care about Jimbo?
Yeah, maybe Jimbo slips in there.
Maybe, but I don't think a lot of media people like Jimbo Fisher really. So I mean,
this would be like the perfect Jeremy Pruitt mess around, and maybe you don't win, but you play this game really well and close, and it becomes. Oh, we got to keep him, give him another shot. Keep this thing. This would be perfect for that.
I can see Pittman getting the SEC Coach of the Year, and we'll go just the over in LSU. Okay, so I ain't trusting any team to cover that. The spread's too small. I don't know who's going to win it, but neither team's going to stop each other.
Yeah, don't be fooled by what LSU did last week. That's a key.
Yeah, Ole Miss defense still sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'll
bad.
tell you, I did feel old watching that LSU game with Johnson at quarterback.
Brad Johnson's kid, yeah.
Brad Johnson was my counselor when I was at basketball camp when I was a kid. I didn't even realize that was his son, and then I was like, oh my gosh, now I really feel old.
Well, here's another one to make you feel old. Who signed with Ohio State and Clemson yesterday, respectively? Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
I saw the Jeremiah Trotter Jr.,
Yes.
who I wore his jersey a few weeks ago.
Marvin Harrison Jr. also signed with Ohio State. Great stuff.
I've been through. I mean, Georgia had Evander Holyfield's son.
That's
a
right.
couple years ago.
Right.
So.
The AAC championship this weekend, I think, is very intriguing. Cincinnati finally plays, and they'll take on a Tulsa team that's been very, very good this year. But I just watching. I test Cincinnati. I think they're a really solid football team on both sides of the field.
I think so too. You've been big on Cincinnati this year.
Yeah, I really like Cincinnati. This game, I will tell you, I've already taken it. I took the under. I took under 45.5, and I think it's because I don't think Tulsa's really going to be able to score. Tulsa is not their offense is not good at all. Not really. It's not really impressive. But I also think their defense is going to be the best defense by far. If you look at statistically, it is going to be by far the best defense that Cincinnati has played all season long. Cincinnati has not played a defense inside the top 50 in the country, and Tulsa, I believe, is inside the top 20 in defensive efficiency in the country. So I do think Cincinnati's going to win. I think it'll probably be an easy win for them, but I think it's probably going to go under.
Luke Fickell is the head coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats. He talks about preparing for Tulsa.
Obviously, a tougher situation. Being off or going to be off for 28 days. So it's tough on our guys. Obviously, they want to get back out there and play, same as us. It's just, you've got some serious time in between a lot of things. Obviously, we haven't all been together for a good portion of the last 14 days. But nonetheless, at least we've got some clarity now about what it is that we're working towards and trying to put a plan in place and keep these guys as occupied as possible. With everything that's going on school-wise, it's pretty much over and done for the most part, other than maybe some finals. And now just kind of having to group the guys and get them on a little bit different path so we can make sure we're ready for the 19th.
They certainly got to have a chip on their shoulder from this college football selection committee.
Yeah, but what are you going to do about it?
Nothing. Go out and dominate another team and
still be out of the picture.
Get a nice little bowl.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
That's all they really can do.
It's too bad. Tulsa
didn't they say they're going to let G5 teams? They're going to let them schedule one more game coming up. Didn't I hear that right?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to let them schedule one more game. If they want to, because of all the COVID issues, if they want, so we could get like a Cincinnati,
BYU.
Yeah, we could get
Coastal.
BYU's playing. Who are they playing? They're playing UCF in the Boca Raton Bowl. That's next Tuesday, so we do have that next Tuesday. But yeah, if they wanted to play I think they could do that. Yeah,
but why would you want to? Even with a win, you're not moving up.
Why not?
Just to play.
You're not moving up.
Play to love the game. It's for the love of the game, damn it.
That's right. You got that right,
yeah.
Tulsa's covered 6 of their last 7 games. They've covered their last 5 on the road. Cincinnati 4-1 in their last 5 against the number. Head-to-head, Cincinnati's won 6 of the last 7. 3 of the last 4 have gone over. All right, one other game. It's the Pac-12 Championship. Oregon filling in for Washington. They'll take on USC. USC a 3.5-point favorite. Total is 62 in this one. Oregon 4-0 against spread against teams with a winning record. USC 2-6 against spread. Their last 8 in December. 1-8 against the spread on Fridays. USC. That's not good when they play on Friday. 6 of the last 7 head-to-head have gone over, and in the last 7, Oregon 5-2 against the spread, 5-2 straight up. All right.
So I will go Oregon in that game because I
like Oregon in that game as well.
Yeah, it's the Pac-12. Whoever's supposed to win always screws it up, don't
Sure.
they? Also, I was refunded at the beginning of the Pac-12 season. I did have a bet on Washington to win the Pac-12. I was refunded though.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah,
Void.
I mean, they should be there in the championship.
This feels like a game Oregon would lose because Cristobal just got a big contract extension. And,
that seems to stand well for the Pac-12. And you'll have an undefeated USC team that'll have no sniff of the playoff.
Well, they played 4 games, right? 5 games?
Yeah.
They haven't played any games.
Well, so does Ohio State.
Yeah, but they have Justin Fields.
True.
I know. All right, it's time for our picks this week. I'll go ahead and start with Fish's 5 this week. I'm taking Alabama minus the 17. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it'll go over, but I'll take Alabama minus 17. I like Northwestern plus the 21 against Ohio State. Keep it somewhat close. Ohio State wins the game, win it by 17. Notre Dame, I'll go plus the 10 against Clemson. I think this is going to be a great football game. Come down to the wire. Could go either way. I like Clemson a little bit, but I think it'll be within a field goal. Iowa State, I'll take them over Oklahoma again. And Cincinnati, to me, this was the easiest one of all of them. I love Cincinnati. I think they're great on both sides of the ball. I'll take them against Tulsa minus the 15. Lang?
I agree with you on Cincinnati. I think they're really good, and they're going to pound Tulsa in this game. I liked how you said you like Clemson a little bit. I think I like Clemson a lot, especially with Trevor Lawrence in there, and I think they're going to come out and finally have a game where they play hard all 4 quarters and have something to prove. The only other one, really, I think that we disagreed on was the Ohio State Northwestern. I just think Ohio State, they're too much. Northwestern they don't have enough to make it interesting even to me. But I'm sure Roser has some thoughts.
Alabama, because you're an idiot if you bet against Alabama. I mean, even if they don't cover, it's just look at what they've done this year. You have to bet on Alabama.
You'll regret it if you go against Alabama and lose.
Right.
Yes.
I'm taking Ohio State against Northwestern because even if Ohio State's secondary is horrible, I don't think Northwestern can throw the ball. And Ohio State will score points. They'll do it a lot in the second quarter. Clemson, I'm taking Clemson. I think Clemson's going to beat down Notre Dame. I do. I think they're going to win by 17 and more. Oklahoma, the only reason I'm going with this is because Iowa State beat them earlier in the year, so I'm taking Oklahoma. I really have no clue on this game at all. None at all. I'm just taking Oklahoma because they lost to them earlier, so they get revenge. And then Cincinnati.
CJ.
Go ahead and give me Bama. That's an easy one. That one was the easiest one for me. I'll take Northwestern because bleep that other school, Notre Dame, unfortunately, because why not? I don't think Iowa State is that good. I know they beat Oklahoma, but we talked about this in the case of Florida where they give you one of those a year. Dan Mullen gives you one of those a year. Oklahoma also gives you one of those games a year. And in the Big 12, you talk about teams who should win, not winning. This is set up beautifully for Iowa State to kind of fall apart down the stretch there. So give me Oklahoma. I'll take Tulsa. And I love Rosa, you touched on it some with that Tulsa defense. I love me some Xavier Collins. One of the best linebackers in the nation and a late first rounder, early second round pick. Yeah. He is a stud. The matchup of Xavier Collins and Ritter, because they both just make plays. One makes plays for the offense, one makes plays for the defense. Having that matchup go head to head, that's going to be so much fun. Give me Tulsa in that one. And then for my own picks, I'll take the Rams and the Ravens.
Rams and the Ravens.
The Jets and the Jags.
Jets and the Jags.
That's probably what I should have done.
Lang, what do you have
I got
off
killed,
the board?
The NFL killed me last week. I can't remember the two I had with you guys, and I actually put money on the Texans against the Bears because we've learned just bet against the Bears.
Mm-hmm. You had the Saints last week.
Against the Eagles, and the Saints
lost.
Terrible. So
they pooped in the bed.
Yeah, I was over in the NFL last week. So this week I'm going to stick with my tried and true tenet from this season, which is Vikings over the Bears. It's the Cordero Patterson Bowl. And then I'm going to go with the Raiders over the Chargers,
Which was last night. So we recorded the show, and you're either a winner or a loser at this point.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Roser, who you got?
We are going to go with. I finally figured this out, but I'm giving you college picks. You better believe this. But NFL, I'm still going to take it because I just saw the line. It has gone down. The Ravens -6.5 in the first half against the Jaguars. I think that win for Baltimore was big on Monday. I think Lamar Jackson looked different. Maybe it's just because they always beat the crap out of the Browns. We'll see. But I like the Ravens -6.5 in the first half against Jacksonville. And then Green Bay always beats bad. They kill bad teams. So they play the Carolina Panthers. I will take Green Bay minus the 8.5, wherever it is. I'll take the Packers on that one. And then I'm giving you college football. Ohio State minus 10.5 in the first half. Clemson minus 6.5 in the first half. Bama first half over 37.5. Bama, Florida over 74 for the game. And if you can find a team total on Bama, if it's in the 40s, take the over.
Take the over. My two NFL picks this week, I'll go with the Tennessee Titans minus 11.5 against Detroit. Tennessee 4-1 against spread last 5 against the Lions. My other one is I'm going Minnesota. I finally have listened to Lang about going against the Bears. Didn't last week. Stayed off that game. Thank goodness. But Minnesota minus the 3 against Chicago. Minnesota's covered 4 of their last 5 against the NFC North. All right, it is championship week. Looking forward to it. Big weekend in the National Football League as well. And then next week for the holidays, we start talking about bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, boom, there's no break this year. It's bowls next week.
And the Pac-10 just started last week.
I'm going to bring some bowls.
Bring some bowls.
I think you get the bowls in your car, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes. In case they need me to do halftime show. Thanks for joining us here on The Odds Couple. For Lang, for Roser, for CJ, for Kimball, I'm Fish. Enjoy all the action this weekend. We'll talk to you next week here on The Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
Listening to The Odds Couple from the American Home Shield Studio on GrindCityMedia.com. Tune in next week for more football handicapping with Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.